Now, as every sailor knows who anchors out every night as we do, you should always be using a snubber. We always make sure we do. But I admit in the past I've always just tied it on with a rolling hitch. If you tie it right, it works, but it's quite fiddly to do. But a couple of years ago I started using this, and I don't know why I didn't start it sooner, to be honest. It is so much easier and safer actually, because if you need to leave in a hurry, sometimes getting that knot undone is difficult, and this just tends to just slip off the chain as you bring it up. When you've got that slack in the chain, you can just jiggle it and it just normally just falls off, so you can get going really quickly, which is really quite useful. And it's never ever, in the 3 years now that we've had it and we do anchor out every night, it's never actually came off when the anchor is taut, when it's not supposed to. It's always stayed on.
We often end up staying in some windy and quite challenging anchorages.
Look at how straight that gets pulled out when we get the gusts here. So I'm going to put my flippers on and see if I can swim up to it. I'll probably have to do it underwater because I'm going to get blown off the surface, I think, here, so wish me luck.
This was recorded 2 years ago in Greece, at a time when the 𝗨𝗲𝗁 had been blowing at up to 50 knots. This is a bit of a lull, but still, the snubber is pulled tight and the chain grab is doing its job well. Following the chain down, you can see the Ultra anchor itself has done such a good job, you can't really see where it is anymore. It's buried in the sand.
So yeah, it's a really good little piece of kit, this, and you can see I've taken the road off it because it's 3 years old and it's getting a bit chafed, so I've got a new bit of road here, so I'm going to put that on and just show you how this is used. It's important to get enough road. I've got 15 meters here. You want you know, at least 10, even for a small boat, really. I mean, it doesn't depend that much on the size of the boat. You need to have quite a bit of road so it's got the stretch in it, because that's what it's about. That's the snubber's job. If your anchor's already tight because you're being blown back by the wind or tide, then that extra lift that you get needs to be taken up by something. You can't always rely on the catenary of the chain to take up any excess surges. If you've already been pushed back by the wind or the tide, then the chain can be pretty straight, and you're then relying on your road as the only thing that's got any elasticity in the system, really, and that's going to take the shock out. So I mean, I'm using 20mm rope here. I mean, we've got a big heavy boat. This is 26 tons, so I mean, you wouldn't have to necessarily go as thick as this, and really you want a bit of stretch, so you might want to, with a lighter boat, be a little bit thinner than this, but yes, do have the length, at least 10 meters, because then it is actually going to have enough stretch within its length to give you some useful damping for those sorts of forces. So I'm going to splice this on. You can see it's got the 10 on there because it's for 10mm chain, which is what we have on 𝗨𝗏𝗁. They just come in different sizes. I mean, this one's already done over 1,000 nights at sea for us. It's got a few wear marks in here from the chain, but it works brilliantly well. So yeah, I'm going to just splice this this bit of road on there, and we're going to give it a go.
I usually use a piece of standard 3-core just because it's so easy to splice. You just put it through the eye, pull it back and splice it onto itself. Then normally just lift the chain and it'll go on. This would be the normal position for most boats, but on 𝗨𝗁 it's a bit more tricky than this, as we've got this section under our bowsprit, so I have to reach down. Again, just lift the chain and it'll slip straight on. Then just go back and release some chain along with the snubber until you've got the length that you want. At that point you can just tie the snubber off and let a little bit more chain out so it hangs down in a loop. And there you are, job done.